one shot, Sheriff.
Hey, Nikki, how you doing?
Hey, good, love. How are you?
I'm good. Um, I gotta tell you, I've watched some of your stuff for a while now, including The Wedding Ringer and Maneater. And I gotta tell you, The Flood is probably one of the most badass roles you have ever done, in my opinion. You were so great in this movie.
Thank you. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, this movie kicked my ass. It was very challenging. It was challenging for everyone. Crew, cast, all of us. We were in some pretty wild conditions out there in Bangkok, in this sort of sludgy water in these factories. And I mean, it was no joke. But I'm glad that came through. You know, it's so, and I'm glad I get the opportunity to sort of get to play these characters, you know, and these sort of, I love action films. I don't know, I'm in the thick of it at the moment. I'm just really enjoying them. So thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've talked with Brandon and Damon and Casper, and they've given me so much story. So I would love to hear what your take was on like some of the action stuff, especially because, you know, I've heard from Brandon that you got quite a background and that allowed you to, you know, engage in some pretty heavy combat against guys who are like bigger than you. So what was that like?
Yeah, you know, I do a bit of boxing training. I've always done a little bit of kickboxing and boxing for about 20 years. But, you know, obviously in real life, I would never be able to take on these men. You see the size of Mike and Bear, they're huge. These men are 6'4", 6'5", tough dudes. So, of course, in the magic of movie making, I get to take them on and beat them and kick their asses. Pretty unrealistic, but it is so much fun. And they are so courageous and such gentlemen in how we sort of, you know, put these fights together. The stunt team in Thailand obviously don't speak English, so we had a translator. So putting these sequences together can be quite hairy, especially where Bear, the big guy, picks me up and dumps me on a table. It's a very hard stunt to do. I didn't have a stunt double, but you know, I got winded. I smashed open my hand. You know, I had a couple wounds when I left, but it was sort of worth the ride. And those guys, they're tough guys, but they are very gentle in how we sort of went about them. And, you know, we're all in it together, you know, so we want to make it look as good as possible. But these guys are fun. Brandon's awesome. And Brandon, by the way, our director, shoots action so well.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
I think I've talked to him at least like 3 times already. And
yeah,
every conversation gets so much better. It's like we're old buddies catching up whenever he has a new movie out now. I think it's reached that level. So he was telling me how much fun he had on this film. And one of the big action sequences that surprised me was Lewis versus Casper. I mean, that fight was insane. And
it's cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, you got to witness that in the scene. And like, what was your take on that? Because Casper gave me some horrifying stories about what happened during that fight.
Yeah. Listen, you're in water. It's no joke. Like, it's really hard, and trying to shoot it and make it look realistic. And they're 2 really, really strong actors. They had worked together before. They are good buddies. They really love each other. Both of them are really great actors. It's so solid. I mean, those men are, so to get, and you know, you're given, sometimes you sort of make it up on the spot. A lot of this is just, there's no rehearsal time. They have little amount of time, and it's filthy water. No one wants to be going in it, let alone be punching each other and diving in it and smashing each other. You really do get hurt.
I think Casper said he saw a cockroach at one point, like right when he was getting his face smashed, and he was telling me, I was like, yeah, he was kind of grossing me out, but I know, you know, he was so dedicated. And the part where him and Lewis like took a break and like catching their breath, that was actually genuine. We were really that winded.
They're exhausted. And it's also 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the night. It's stinking tropical weather, but we're in slushy, disgusting, filthy water. The scene where Kim and I go down to the basement and the alligator comes in, the original scene of that, I'm supposed to be underwater with my eyes looking, and I see what I see without giving away what happens in the story. And I said, boys, there's no way I'm putting my head under this water and opening my eyes. It's not happening. We had to literally redo that.
I could picture that, because I don't think you could have made that. You could have, would have been just, you would have been.
And they were like, you got it done. Absolutely 100%. We support you. I'm like, thank you. They were very gracious about it, but it's no joke. So those boys, that fight scene was really cool, but I know they both came out rough in that one.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know, it would have been even better, in my opinion, if you had somehow gotten into that fight yourself at the last second, like just coming in to help Casper's character. That would have been even better, even though it was just like, even hearing the stories was just, it just sounds really nasty. But
The
I
thing
could,
I like about their fight is it's two dudes really having an all-in brawl. You know, I think if I was bought into it, I mean, it could have been fun. And thank you for saying that. But I also like the idea that they have a real scrap. You know, my fight scenes are big, cool movie fight scenes. Those two are really
yeah.
scrapping it out. You know what I mean? I didn't want to interrupt that. I would have got squished.
So I know that the alligators were CGI, but was it kind of difficult to, you know where you had to go when it came to the alligators? Was that hard, or did Brandon get a good job of coordinating that? Like, this is where we're going to put the alligator, and what you had to do. What was that
We
like?
had one of those little red lights that buzz on the ground. I mean, we had sort of points to where we were and stuff. It's always hard imagining, you know, because it's about creating suspense, right? So it's about creating anxiety and then energy. And there's an alligator, and keep moving to keep that going. It's exhausting, and it's kind of it. I much prefer to have something tangible or something there or something really coming at us, because as you know, for me personally, I jump at shit, you know what I mean? So I would have loved to have had something coming at me, but nope, there was nothing there. So sort of, you know, we had to create this, you know, yeah, this fake sort of, it's a thing with CGI. CGI is amazing and it does look cool in a lot of stuff, but I don't know, I love when stuff's real, you know.
Yeah, and I also like the chemistry between you and Casper, because Casper's character, he was a cop killer, but at the same time, when he tells you why he did what he did, I felt like that arc really meant a lot to that character, because he wasn't exactly a total bad guy at all.
Yeah.
Just someone who's taking responsibility for his actions. He knew what he was doing. So, and the way you presented yourself, you seemed scared of him because he was that cop killer. But then when you got to hear who he is, you kind of formed a bond with him because you kind of see him as something different. Well, so I think that really helped too with the film, between you and Casper, that chemistry together.
Yeah, I wish we say that we wish we could have developed a little more, Casper and I, but they're under such crazy circumstances. How do two characters really bond when we're constantly in the rush? Even that scene, what you're talking about, felt weird, because why would we be spending this much time in a deep conversation? Sorry, that's my dog yawning. Why would we be having snoring? I mean, why would we be having such a deep conversation in such a time of anxiety and tense? So I wish we'd had more time to develop a connection. But I think, the way Casper plays it, this is why I love him. He's so good. He's so dedicated. But if you notice him when he gets off the bus, I clock him and he clocks me. I was always thinking, there's something about him, and more on a gentle side, not on a fearful side. I think there's something, even though he's the cop killer, it's like there's something about him that I feel safe around him. And as we see the story unravel, that sort of develops more. But sorry, I'm just going to move my Frenchie because he is snoring like nothing else. Yeah, so
That's awesome. So finally, what's next for you after this? Because quite frankly, I think you should be doing more action films. You said you love action films, and clearly seeing this movie, you could be one of the next female action heroes and just keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. I would love to continue doing the action. Physically, I love it. Physically, I feel stronger. Oh my God, this is dog. Physically, I feel stronger and better than ever before. And I'm in my 40s now, and I'm like, I would like to do more action, because I want to bring that energy to women in my age group and be like, yo, we can do this still. I'm stronger now than I was back then. And it's a different kind of strength when you've got a mental strength to attach to your physical strength, which happens as you get older. You bring a different kind of power to the screen. And I hope that I have opportunities where I can show that. I really, really do, because it's a positive thing. It's a powerful thing, and I'm in that process. So we'll see. I keep my fingers crossed.
That's awesome. Well, The Flood will be out on July 14th this week, and I think this is a perfect movie for everyone to see, just to take away from all the serious stuff that's going on right now. Just a fun popcorn action flick, and getting to see you kick butt, and Casper and Lewis and the rest of the cast. Awesome movie. And Nicky, thank you so much again for taking the time to talk about it.
Oh, thanks, love. It's great to see you. Thank you very much.
All right, you take care.
I love you too. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
you.